Hello and welcome to another audio commentary. This is for my compilation, which is for Steam in the East, which was originally published on YouTube back in 2016. So it's essentially a compilation of my video clips up to that time. And this first one is Bittern on one of her 90-mile-an-hour runs. I sort of made a bit of a mistake with the camera there. I went to pan it and forgotten that I'd actually locked it in place. I learned the hard way, and you only get the one chance to do that. And with this one, this is same location, Oliver Cromwell on the Linden Fair, which goes to Lincoln and back from King's Cross. Common problem I have with my camera is sometimes the microphone tends to just sort of appear in frame at the top. Quite a long shot, this one. This is because I like to get the full effect of the loco travelling off into the distance. Quite a heavy train as well, as most tours tend to be. Again, this is the same day, and you can just about hear some friends of mine on the camera. Now this is the Nene Valley Railway. Now the loco is 45337, and it is on one of the Santa specials. The same day, the 7th of December 2013. And this is quite a long straight, actually. It takes quite a long time to get to you, so that crossing isn't as close to the station as it looks. So when someone crosses it, it's really quite far off. It's just the effect of that telephoto lens, really, on the camera. Now, is this on the tripod, or am I just holding this incredibly still? And there goes a rabbit. And interestingly, this is on the Danish stock, so it's got quite wide carriages. Oh yeah, definitely on the tripod, this one. I quite like these carriages, they're really spacious inside. Except that one. That one's got a bench seat. But the wagon seats are very soft. And the Class 14 on the back. They have those sets, they book out completely. So they're quite long. And we have here Braunton, the White Rose 2, which is a tour which goes to York and back. It's impossible to film at that spot at the moment because that is where the fly under has gone for Warrington Junction, which is just north of Peterborough. This was a tricky one. This is in the Fairmaid car park at Peterborough, and there is, I didn't realise at the time, an electrical generator. I could couldn't isolate it without making the loco sound weird, so it is what it is, I'm afraid. I was on the wrong side for the sun as well. Yeah, this is common with my videos. I tend to let the whole train disappear off before then cutting the shot. Yeah, this is quite a magnificent sight. That is at a crossing near Marham. In fact, I headed out into the field. There's a few shots from that location in this video. Same location, but this is further back. An unusual visitor to the east in the castle class, Earl of Mount Edgecombe. And now there is something I particularly like about this video. It's not great quality or anything, but you'll just see as the loco is going past the flicker of the firebox just on the steam. She was heading back to Birmingham. Very windy as well. And off she goes into the distance. Same location as before. This one attracted quite a crowd for some reason. Now some people get upset with other people being in their shot, but you just have to accept it. They've got a right to be there, so who are we to tell them to go? They're there for the same reason as us. This is the return. This is the same evening, but this is actually at Stamford. I like this shot. It's a very good excuse to go up to Stamford for some beer. This was of the smog of that year. She isn't exactly going that fast, but I think I do have a return shot coming next. I'm playing all this by ear, by the way. I'm just wittering on. It's just my own thoughts as I watch this. Yeah, again, she just wasn't moving that fast. It wasn't the best shots really that day. It is what it is, though. Yeah, there was a very big smog that year. It it caused quite a lot of problems with visibility and everything. It was very strange. Can't remember where it come from now. Very good shot of the motion going there though. Unfortunate not to have been bowled at all by others. I'm normally quite careful of where I actually set up. 61306. Now this is an interesting one because I chased this. There's a few shots of this actually. There's a couple up in Newark as well where I met up with Chris Eden Green of Steam Locos in Profile. I went for a few beers and chatted trains for a bit. It's quite a pleasant afternoon. And headed up to the Air Museum actually for a few hours. Killed a bit of time. It seems to me that nearly all the tours go, or at least went, from platform 4. Or was it? Actually no, I think it was platform 5 at that time. That was before they got rid of the Bay platform. This is at Peterborough, by the way. Yeah, she's gone over onto the slow lines to head out of the city. And this is Newark. I'd sort of leapfrogged it. Yeah, so I recall she had a water stop somewhere going up Stoke Bank, I think, or somewhere before there, or at one of the loops, and I was able to leapfrog her. So coming back through, much more much more crowded platform. I couldn't really use the tripod, hence shaky cam. Again, I'm just reaching over the fence for this one. It's a gorgeous evening though. And it's quite a long trip for a Class 5 loco and quite a heavy load. She was going back to King's Cross. So there was still a good 2 hours or so, maybe 2.5 of that trip to get back to the cross. And off she goes into the night. I'm joined by some Hop House Lager though tonight, so lovely. Keeps the whistle wet. Now this is the Nene Valley. This shot is not too far from what is now Overton Station, which is formerly Ferry Meadows. And this is Tornado pulling the wagon leads. Yeah, the wagon leads, that's right. Yeah, she's slowed down for the speed restriction going over the river. I don't think she'd been long outshopped in green again after being in the dark green and blue liveries. It was a great day for that colour. It really shined. But she'll slow down for the bridge, but then once she's cleared it, you hear her putting quite a lot of effort in, really. You hear the regulator being opened up. Now that front carriage is probably the most uncomfortable of the wagonleys at the Nene Valley, as it has bench seats, but the ones behind it have, I believe, compartments actually. I think some are compartments, and I think there's some open carriages, but they're incredibly comfortable. And they're a bit different from your ordinary Mark 1, which you get on a lot of the other preserved lines. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the Mark 1, it's just sometimes you just want something a bit different. And because Tornado is air braked, she can pull the Continental stock, which is also air braked. I'm just hanging on to that shot to hear that. Yeah, this was the much delayed Bittern farewell tour. This was her last run before being put to one side, waiting for overhaul. And I think she's still in the queue waiting for overhaul. It's a little bit delayed, but she didn't half have a good innings, having her 3 90-mile-an-hour runs. I believe this was actually one of them. I think it was anyway. Yeah, my autofocus failed a bit. This shot lingers a bit, doesn't it? I should have trimmed this one down. My arm again. If you notice, the date there is the 7th of the 7th 2013. Now this was the second Cathedrals Express going up to York, and the first one was on the 3rd of July, which was of course the 75th anniversary of Mallard's record run, and I was on that tour. And the return leg, same location. Lovely evening sun. Gorgeous blue livery. It's quite a nice shot there, I think. Now this is my run behind her, and me and a friend decided to travel up behind her to go and enjoy the 75th anniversary celebrations up at York. So this was a few days before the previous shot. Had a nice first class compartment. with table service. It was very nice. And just a quick shot of her going off into the yard from York Station. Ah, yes. So the first thing we've got coming in the far distance is Union of South Africa. She's running tender first. Now, interestingly, the tender behind the Union of South Africa is the one originally built for the W1 in its original form. But yeah, Union of South Africa, the Great Marquess and the N2 tank were along for this weekend. It was a really nice day actually, and the Mid-Norfolk is quite a long run. I did record a separate video which is the entire length of the line recorded from the window. My arm ached that day. But yeah, Union of South Africa are on some blue Mark II stock. Quite a nice buffet car as well they have actually. The station building opposite looked to be a private residence, and you can just about see it just started raining. I thought I'd try a dirty knee shot, so this is practically lying on the floor on a tiny tripod. The Great Marquess eluded me that day. I didn't get a trip behind her. I've not been back to Mid-Norfolk since, so I need to go back. Last time I went by train, and I actually caught the train to Wyndham, and there's a short walk. And you can just see the N2 tank following up. The tram engine was there that day actually as well, now I think about it. Oh yeah, this is quite good. The 9F is on the freight. The New Valley doesn't have a very long wagon line, but it's decent enough. I think the best railway for freight is certainly the Great Central, with its very full trains actually, particularly the wind cutters. If you get a 9F on the wind cutters, that's quite cool. I like that. I can't recall why, but I normally, when I'm at that spot and I'm recording video, I will pan all the way around, because it's up on an embankment, so you can follow it quite far. I probably had someone standing next to me. That's always the case. You can often hear aircraft at the Nean Valley, because Wansford is right next to Sibson Airfield, which is where they do a lot of skydiving. can't remember what he shouted. Quite an exposed shot, actually. You get quite a lot of wind. This is back further near the tornado shots earlier in the video, at the Ferry Meadows at end of the line. It's at the riding school, this shot, and it's a few minutes walk from the car park at Ferry Meadows. Okay, so this is George Stephenson, 44767. This is the unique Black 5 with the Stephenson link motion. Now this is at the North Norfolk. It is Whittlesea Station heading towards Holt. Unfortunately, my microphone sometimes picks up my mobile. I follow this shot all the way around, and it goes up past the S bend into the distance. When the back of the train clears the points, they open up the regulator a bit more. Black 5 has a nice bark on it. Lovely beer. This isn't scripted, by the way. I'm making this all up as I go along. Interestingly, they got one of the suburban carriages on the back of that rake. They're okay. I think they're quite tight when it's busy, and you can't get to the buffet, which just won't do. This is another day. Funnily enough, I met Chris again this day, and you'll notice that the Nene is flooded, and poor sod had to wade through to get back to the station. But this is 73050 on what was to be one of her final weekends, I think, before going off for overhaul. She's got quite a nice chime whistle, actually. I like that. Now this is the first run of Bittern on the ball streak, which she first did the 90 mile an hour shaky cam. A lot of people were around to view this, so I couldn't really set up. It was quite awkward to get the shot in. By the time everyone had shown up, it was a bit difficult to relocate. So this is what it is. I think this is one of my earlier shots which I took with this video camera, which I still use. Now this was the Elizabethan. This was a tour I was joining, and Tornado in her blue, and this was to Edinburgh. Again, this was one I actually bought myself a first class return on this one. It took about 8 hours, I think, to get to Edinburgh, because there's several water stops and passenger pickups on the way. The return journey was behind the Deltic, though, Alycidon, D9009, I think, and yeah, she topped the ton, pulling those Mark 1s. Quite a bouncy ride, a lot of fun. This was the first rail tour I actually went on. Yeah, so this is when we'd gotten to Edinburgh, and Alycidon was there to pull her out of the station towards the depot, backwards. Alycidon will be back again. It was very strange, actually, because went all the way to Edinburgh and I still saw familiar faces on the platform. Very strange. I've chatted to some of the A1 Trust over the years, and they're very approachable, very nice people. But yeah, Tornado looked spectacular in blue. This was when she had not long been outshopped in that colour. Had about an hour and a half, I think, to kill at Waverley. Now, yeah, did you see it? There's a fox which actually pops out of the bush. I was really wet this day. Again, she is now under overhaul at the Great Central. You can hear that rain, can't you? Tornado is quite, or at least when I was filming all of these, it was quite frequent on the East Coast Main Line. And there's that dead cat again getting into shot. Now watch the lights. It will go from its daytime running to its night lights. I think. Or have I got the wrong shot? I might have got the wrong shot, but I do have a shot of the lights being changed. I think she was being signal checked on her way into Peterborough. Tornado's not had much luck lately. In the past couple of years anyway. Massive failure on the East Coast Main Line about 2 years ago, I think, and she was stranded at the Nene Valley for several months. This was kind of a bad shot. I tried to do it freehand from the bridge and it just didn't really work. I left it in for record, but I'm not very happy with that one. That could have been a lot better. So you will see up in the top left it says March East Junction. So this was coming from Ely. It was heading, is it like Birmingham or something? I can't remember exactly where. Actually no, I think it was going to York. I think the White Roses tend to go to York. But, yep, Union of South Africa. And she has a diesel on the back as well, a class 47. March was unusually one of her stops. So I think the building on the right is some kind of railway workshop still, and behind the camera on the left hand side is the junction to go off to Whitemoor, which is still a freight yard, but it was one of the biggest in the country when it was originally built. It was originally a hump shunting yard, I think. But yeah, she's pulling into March. The chime whistle is amazing. Yeah, she takes quite a long time pulling into the station. Again, I've held the shot again, but I think the platform at March isn't that long, and I believe it stops with it fouling the crossing, as you can see at the back. And this is her departing. The NRM's support coach. Yeah, I think she was being quite heavily assisted by the class 47 on the back. She didn't really seem to be doing that much work. It's a shame really, she could handle it. That was quite a cold day actually. This was at a time I worked in Cambridge, so I had a season ticket for Peterborough, Ely, March, Cambridge, that route, and yeah, so I hopped on the train and got out here. County of Essex. Again, it was quite a busy platform. Squeaky chair. This is Tangmere, the unrebuilt. I don't like that word, it's weird. Battle of Britain. She's doing a proper leg as well. Flying Scotsman on her inaugural run. Again, this was the day when people went out onto the track because they were idiots. I got a space somewhere near Connington, I think. We went out and there was a track which followed the line which we could stand on. when I used to commute to Cambridge, I could sometimes work these shots of tours into my commute. Yeah, that was a bit annoying. I don't have many shots of the Duchess. She's moving light engine in this one, and I think the next shot is also a light engine move. I think she was heading to the mid-Norfolk, I think. And yeah, this is later, and she's coming back. Now this is at Whittlesea Station. There used to be quite a few sidings at Whittlesea, but as with many places, it's all been cut back, so it's just two running lines through now. There's still a signal box though, I think. Yeah, unfortunately you can't really mute or isolate the sound of the reversing. Again, like I said earlier, it's one of the perils and pitfalls of going out and recording this, because you only get one opportunity to do it right, and I don't even do it right. Just putting that support coach, so she doesn't really have to be working. There's a bit of a fail in editing. Whoops. Yeah, one of the few shots I've got of her pulling a train. This is just south of Warrington Junction. This is where the new Flyander is. Oh, yeah, this is cool. This is a triple header. It was from the Mid-Norfolk Gala, and they was heading back to West Coast Space at Carnforth, I think. HF Jubilee and a Royal Scot. That's a cool shot. I like that. Very unusual as well. And I have travelled behind 48151. I did it last year, in fact, over the Settle and Carlisle. I like freight engines. Now this is one of a series of videos which I recorded in London. This is at Haringey. Had a perfect shot and then the elbow got in. It's a nice early morning shot as well. The sun was just right for that one. I was in London all day that day, and I got to see her return. And here it is. No tripod because I got told off for it. It's a fantastic sound to hear, especially at King's Cross. I think Union of South Africa was the first steam loco to depart King's Cross since 1963 or 1966, whenever the last steam runs came out before the end of steam on BR. This shot lingered too much. I did record this 4 years ago, so... well, more than 4 years ago. Things have got better since then. And my last shot. Very crisp day. I did mess up the colour in that shot, but I couldn't find the unedited original, which is a shame. So yeah, if you've made it this far, thank you for listening to my drone and my waffle, and I hope you want to like, subscribe, share, do whatever. There is a version of this video on the same channel without my commentary, so if you want to see it without me waffling on and interrupting everything, please feel free, and I hope you have a good day. Farewell.